Hello, I'm Chris, and in honor of Father's Day, I'm going to ask some people about their dads, so let's go hear what they have to say.
Well, my dad came here from Guatemala when he was about 20.
I'm a little bit of a wreck today.
My dad, he was born in Samoa, or his parents sent him here when he was like 14 with his older brother.
And I have, my physical father, my spiritual father.
Okay.
My spiritual father is Father God.
So grew up in Green Bay, Racine, Wisconsin. A huge Packers fan, kind of like a small town guy.
Well, my dad is Mexican immigrant from Mexico. He was born there and then moved here with his mom.
My dad's a very kind man, I would say. Like he was actually born and 9 months later they found out that he had epilepsy.
He passed out 2007 at the age of 100. Led a fairly good life. Had 9 kids, trained them all through school.
My daddy too, electrician, but now he ended up, because he was a great keyboard player too. He played with Percy Mayfield, old blues players. Jimmy Witherspoon, but he wasn't, that was just a namesake kind of thing. We weren't kin, but I met him.
Not too familiar with them, but...
Well, he's a jazz guitarist. Okay. Not a jazz, blues guitarist.
Okay.
Yeah, and the name of that song is if you want to look it up, okay?
My dad, he was from India. And I'm from India too, right? I moved to Canada when I was 15 years old.
My dad is great. Super hard worker. Back in Brazil, he was into politics for a long time, and then he was in real estate.
My father that raised me, he definitely instilled, certain values in me that I feel like are redeemable to this day. Came from Macon, Georgia. He moved to Detroit, Michigan in the 60s.
I love my dad. He's always been there for us, for me and my sister.
And they had a rough upbringing, but fortunately, they survived all the hardships of being an immigrant in America. My dad was such a nice person, but unfortunately, he passed away when I was 2. I don't know really much about him, but the stories I've heard about him.
He's a really good guy. He's the hardest working man I've ever met in my life. He teaches me to work really hard for what I want.
Went to Marquette, where he met my mom. He studied engineering. He had a full ride to Marquette academically.
He lives in New Mexico. So actually, I'm gonna try not to get emotional because it's been a while since I've seen him, in person and stuff. So, and my stepmom, I really love. They've been together for 42 years now.
He never traveled out of Africa. Never went to school. But the least of his children had a master's degree. I have a PhD.
Wow. What do you have a PhD in?
Construction management.
Oh, okay.
After I was born, when I was 9 years old or 8 years old, he made his way to Canada with absolutely nothing, with just a couple of just a bit of cash in the both mom and my dad, and then they have worked pretty hard, doing those rough jobs, doing night shifts and everything.
My dad's a Trump supporter.
Oh, okay.
So...
Do you have any personal conflict with that on your end?
We do. He's a small business owner.
I see.
So he's full-on Trump.
Oh.
We're okay, Dad, Latino Trump supporter. Wow.
He lied about his age to my mom, and that's how they got together.
Did he say he was older?
He was younger.
Oh.
He was younger than my mom.
Gotcha.
So he was just very clever like that, trying to get the ladies.
Clever.
My mother, she met him after I was born, actually. So he adopted me when I was 6 months old. So that was what I had known to be my father. I still know to be my father.
He really pushes me to be the best I can, because because I play volleyball. I mean, he's very athletic and everything. So
You said he's Samoan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's in the blood.
Because he was in politics, I felt like the people outside were more valued than we were. I don't see a moment that I don't remember a time that my dad was like holding me or hugging me and stuff like that. But I felt that he would do that to other kids, like when he was campaigning and things like that.
Are you a father now?
Yes, I'm a father of 4. The youngest is 25.
But yeah, I'm planning to get out there soon to see him.
When's the last time you saw your dad?
Like I haven't been to New Mexico in probably about 7 years now.
Okay. So it's been 7 years?
It's,
In person?
Yeah,
Okay.
in person, yeah.
He makes the best food ever.
What's your favorite dish that he makes?
Lobster mac and cheese. It is so good.
And he's very passionate about it, you know? Like
Is he outspoken about it?
He's very outspoken about it, that we get to the point on the table where we're like, no politics,
I see.
no talking about Trump.
You know, men sometimes have more of an unspoken bond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more stoic.
Right.
You have to understand my dad was born in like 46. So, you know, that generation's a little different. But I mean, at the end of the day, like he imparted a lot of values into me and showed me different things in life that has helped me have navigation and understanding.
Have you had another father figure in your life, or has it just been?
Yeah, my uncle.
Okay.
Like my mom's brother is literally like my dad. If I had a like emergency or like my car breaking down or something, I would instantly call my uncle. Like that's the thing about like fathers. It doesn't necessarily have to be your father.
Right.
Like by blood, but if they do a lot for you and they care about you in like a fatherly way, I think that, you know, actually solidifies them being your father.
You're right.
And I do a lot of things that my dad used to do that I hated. Mainly things that I always hated that he would do. I do the same. It's interesting. I guess like at some point, like we all hate our dads for a moment.
Are all 4 of your kids similar to you? You know, they say always you should have 3 kids because one of them will turn out. But you have 4 now.
Yes,
So
I have 4.
would you say all 4 of them met your expectations, quote unquote?
Well, no, not quite.
Okay.
One of them is the wild
Yeah.
one. You know.
Hey, there's always one.
Yes, yes. But it's still very, very fulfilling.
Okay. Do you understand his side on why you think he is a Trump supporter?
I understand, you know, for like for him being a small business owner and how like it's impacted him like after, COVID and everything.
But you love your dad.
We love him regardless,
Right.
even if he's a Trump supporter. We just will not wear like a red hat with him or anything outside.
I feel like his way of expressing like showing that he loves someone is not through words, it's more through like actions. He works really, really hard to like make sure that we have a nice life and he can like, support us in that way instead of like telling us every day like, I love you.
Yeah.
You want to say something about your dad?
I've got 2 dads.
Oh yeah, he has 2 dads.
Oh, you have 2 dads? Okay.
Yeah.
I was adopted.
You're adopted, okay.
But my adopted dad died when he was 54. I was like 19. And then later on in life, I discovered my biological father, and we got on really well.
Through DNA.
And we were on the same blood pressure medicines. It's too crazy. And we're about the same kind of height and everything. But we look completely different.
Interesting.
My principal objective with my children is making sure each and every one of them is capable of living life, alone.
Independent.
My dad is my soft spot. He and my stepmom and my brother, I have a brother that's 4 years younger. I have dreams of like living in New Mexico again. Like living close enough to have that family unit. And my he's doing actually better than he had in years. Somehow he just got better, and I'm lucky he's still alive. I need to get back soon.
I feel like I don't tell him this enough, but he's definitely my role model. He just does so much for me and he's just the perfect representation of what a dad should be. I love my dad so much, and I would not change him for the world.
My dad is helping me now with my son because my son's dad is like not in his life. So my dad like stepped in to be like kind of like the father role. Kind of gives them advice, you know, a little old school advice, but it's a good kind of advice.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that.
One is a wild cannon.
Do you mind me if I ask you in what way are they?
Oh, in every way. You just hear of what she's done and what she's doing and stuff like that.
But of course you still love her. Very much.
Of course.
Of course.
I can't help it.
Of course. Oh man.
One of my favorite memories with my dad.
When I was 5, he picked me up from school. We went to the fair. It's like I remember being on his shoulders, looking around and like feeling so tall. It was just very nostalgic for me. I just remember he bought me this little mini skateboard. And like I have pictures of me like holding the little skateboard. I'm almost the same size as this little skateboard. I felt like I could do anything, you know? It was really sweet.
Basically, I'm from Detroit. In like 2003 or 4, we had early 2000s, we had a blackout. He would always buy generators.
Okay.
He just was fascinated. He always would buy that kind of stuff. Like, always had like military clocks in the house. Like, he just was always into that kind of stuff. He's like very much so a precautionary person. Oh, you know, you stay ready, then you don't have to get ready. My mother would get agitated because she thought that he was like frivolously, you know what I'm saying, spending money on things that just weren't necessary.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like people that buy apocalypse supplies. Like, bro, like what? Like, why do you keep buying canned food? It was a blackout for like a week or something like that. It was crazy. And like the power grid was down and like everyone was like without power. And so we were the only house. So when everyone else didn't have power, I was playing video games. I was having the time of my life, bro.
I'm sure your mom appreciated it.
Oh, she did. She learned.
But he loved her. My daddy said he told me one time, he says, son, I think the sun, when I met your mother, I thought the sun set and rose in her. You know what I'm saying? I said, that's so
love.
pretty.
That's love.
You know what I'm saying?
There was this trip that he took me and my sister on to Vegas. Super nice hotel. There was like this wakeboarding thing. We did that. That was really fun. It was just me, my dad, and my sister. Just a mini trip.
Do you remember the earthquake, the Northridge? It's just like it's just so funny because, you know, it started shaking, and we used to live like in this like high, tall apartment building, really old, and you could just feel the earthquakes really bad there. We used to sleep in the living room, and my dad and my mom slept like in the back in their room. My dad comes out running to grab us, but he's like in like a Speedo underwear, but it was like a leopard. It was like a leopard.
Cute. Very cute.
It was like a leopard underwear, and we're like, what?
Probably, it's kind of broad. Probably just when I was younger, and he would like take me to the baseball field and just like throw pitches to me and my brother. Just like practice with us for hours and like wouldn't get tired of it. The fact that he wanted us to be like the best possible people that we could be, and like he did everything for that. So I think that's probably my favorite memory.
When I was, what was it? I think it was 5, and he came home from work, and he's wearing like these all white work clothes. He looks like a milkman. My birthday's Valentine's Day, so I had on a very like pink, white, and red frilly thing going on. And he brought me a strawberry shortcake bicycle, and it had the little tassels, you know, the basket.
Yes.
And
very cute.
Yeah, that's a really awesome memory too.
Daddy, I love you, but you're a very stubborn person. And you deal with us, but he deals with all our crap, and you know, we love him for that. You know, like regardless if it's good or bad, or he's always there, you know. And I appreciate that.
You know, I just appreciate you for, you know, being there for me, especially when I was younger, for just instilling certain things in me, for, you know, giving me like religious autonomy. Like, you know, he was a believer in God, but he basically told me like he raised me as a Christian, he raised me as a believer, but he was like, I want you to, you know, basically experience it yourself and find which doctrine and which is most in alignment with what you feel like God is. And so like I appreciate that. And just even little conversations, like before I came to LA, you know, I was kind of like nervous about it, apprehensive, and I remember one day he's like, yo, you should go, you're gonna be all right. So, you know, I just appreciate him for being that person in my life, you know what I'm saying, more so than anything else. And, you know, looking after my mother, you know what I'm saying, when she was in a really precarious spot in life. And then just, you know, allow me to administer them same characteristics into, you know, the people I love and the people that I have relationships with.
Hi, Uncle. I love you so much. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for being the best dad to everybody. And thank you for taking care of me even though I wasn't yours. I really appreciate it. And you made me feel loved.
Right, it's just that I am in this position, like, you know, because of both my parents and my grandparents take some credit too, because they raised me as well. But especially to my dad, like, as I said, like, I admire the way you are, and yeah, and I hope to be someone like you one day.
Hey, Dad. You are like the hardest working man I know, and you really set like a really good example of basically starting from nothing and working for everything that you have. And that is really inspiring to me to work for what I want and anything that I want, and showing that you can work for it. And you also have set a really good example of, like, in relationships, like things that I would want and things that I know, like, a standard too. And I don't know, you're a smart guy and you taught me to be smart too, and I really do appreciate that. So yeah, I guess all I want to say is thank you. Thanks for making me who I am and not leaving me on the side of the road.
Just, I love you so much. I would not be the man I am today without you. You do so much for our family that isn't said directly that we appreciate, but we truly appreciate everything you do for us. Cooking, making sure we have a hot meal on the table every time we get home. Just supplying everything for our family. And my mom's a very hardworking person too, so I'm not discrediting her in any way, but my dad is the best, like the most honest and best man that I know. So I just love you so much, Dad, and there's no one else in the world I'd rather have be my father than
you. It's called
What is that? How does that?
It's like this. I was walking through the park. It wasn't quite dark. There was a man sitting on a bench. And out of the clouds, with his head lowly bowed, he just moaned as to make no sense. And he just go, okay.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then he goes and says, I just couldn't help myself. 'Cause I was born with a curious mind. We were, you know.
Yeah.
I asked the man just what did he mean, and he moaned as to be so kind.
Okay, Clarence.
And he said,
Okay.